In the serene coastal town of Harbor Grove, Maine, where lighthouse beams still guide ships home and neighbors know each other's stories by heart, an unlikely guardian keeps watch. Sarah Mitchell, a gentle-handed nurse whose tireless dedication at Seaside Medical Clinic has saved countless lives over the past decade, carries a past written in battlefield blood. Once one of the most decorated combat medics in special operations history, she now moves through the rhythms of small-town life. But when a ruthless organization begins pressuring local businesses for protection money, they'll discover too late that some healers haven't forgotten how to fight. The morning fog rolls off the Atlantic, wrapping Harbor Grove's weathered buildings in a pulley haze as Sarah begins her rounds. The corridors of Seaside Medical Clinic echo with her measured footsteps, each movement fluid with the efficiency of someone accustomed to working under far more demanding conditions. "Easy now, Mr. Henderson," Sarah soothes, helping an elderly fisherman onto the examination table. Her steady hands, often compared to lighthouse beams themselves, check his vitals with practiced precision. The old man grumbles about his arthritis, which has made it harder to manage his lobster traps, but his tone softens under Sarah's care. "Don't know how you do it," Henderson mutters. "Got the gentlest hands in 3 counties, but sometimes." His voice trails off, and he studies her with a weathered gaze. "Sometimes you move like those military folks I served with, seeing everything without seeming to look." Sarah smiles gently, though something flickers at her eyes, a shadow of memories she rarely lets surface. "Just experience, I suppose," she replies softly. "You learn to stay aware when people's lives depend on you." Through the clinic's windows, her gaze tracks an unfamiliar black SUV passing by for the 3rd time that morning. Her hands never falter in their work, but her mind catalogs details with military precision. Tinted windows, new plates, 2 occupants, the driver's posture suggesting concealed body armor. 10 years of peace haven't dulled her instincts. In the adjacent room, a tray of instruments crashes to the floor. Sarah's body tenses fractionally, a muscle memory honed in places where unexpected sounds often meant incoming fire. Her voice remains calm. "You okay in there, Lisa?" she calls out to the clinic's newest nurse. "Fine," Lisa replies, though embarrassment colors her tone. Sarah reassures her, but her mind is already mapping exit routes and calculating distances to the emergency kit in her locker, the one stocked with supplies far beyond standard medical equipment. Some habits never fade. As the day progresses, Sarah moves with her usual quiet efficiency, bringing calm to worried parents and crying children alike. But beneath her composed exterior, a part of her remains on high alert. She's heard rumors of a new group muscling its way up the coast. Small the Harbor Watch expects to find a gentle nurse, a vulnerable clinic in a sleepy town. What they'll face instead is a warrior who has seen far worse and is prepared to protect what she's built, no matter the cost. In the serene coastal town of Harbor Grove, Maine, where lighthouse beams guide ships home and neighbors know each other's stories, a storm brews beneath the tranquil surface. Sarah Mitchell, a gentle nurse at Seaside Medical Clinic, has dedicated the past decade to saving lives. Yet, her calm exterior hides a past forged in battlefield fire. Once a decorated combat medic in special operations, Sarah has chosen to heal rather than harm. But when a ruthless organization, Harbor Watch, begins preying on the town's businesses, they're about to discover that not all healers have forgotten how to fight. The warning signs morning arrives with the Atlantic fog wrapping the town in a shroud of gray. Sarah begins her day as always, moving through the clinic with quiet efficiency. Her hands soothe the elderly and treat injuries with a practiced calm that belies the tension simmering beneath. Yet, her sharp eyes catch the movements of an unfamiliar black SUV circling the block for the 3rd time that morning. Tinted windows, new plates, and the unmistakable posture of the driver, one that suggests concealed body armor, set her instincts on edge. As the day progresses, subtle disturbances escalate. Lisa, the clinic's newest nurse, drops a tray of instruments, her clumsy mistake drawing a momentary reaction from Sarah. Years of training make her body tense instinctively, but her voice remains steady. "You okay, Lisa?" "Fine." Lisa replies, flustered. Good. Let me know if you need help, Sarah says, her tone calm but her mind already mapping exit routes and assessing vulnerabilities. By lunch, Chief Wood stops by for his routine checkup, his expression betraying unease. 3 more businesses got hit last night, he says. Pharmacies, clinics, medical supply shops. They're targeting critical services first. Sarah listens, her measured response laced with quiet steel. Fear, disruption, control. That's how they work. But fear only works if you let it. Woods frowns. Maybe it's time to think about protection. Her smile carries no warmth. Some of us never stopped being protection, Chief. Preparations for battle as the sun dips lower, the town begins to settle for the evening. But for Sarah, the day is far from over. She activates a quiet network of veterans turned civilians, alerting them through encrypted channels that bypass official frequencies. Surveillance networks, invisible to most, come alive, tracking every suspicious movement. At the clinic, Sarah makes her final rounds with the same calm efficiency, her presence soothing crying children and anxious parents alike. Yet, behind the scenes, her preparations are anything but ordinary. The clinic's modern renovations conceal layers of tactical upgrades, reinforced doors, hidden cameras covering every approach, and defensible positions cleverly masked as ordinary storage areas. Emergency drills practiced with her staff are designed for scenarios far beyond a typical small-town clinic's needs. At dusk, Marcus, a paramedic and fellow veteran, stops by under the pretense of restocking supplies. His posture, like Sarah's, carries an air of readiness. They've set up containment around the major access points to town, he reports quietly. Inventory clipboard in hand. Military precision. I've counted at least 20, some local, some professionals. A few look like force recon. Sarah absorbs the information without a flicker of emotion. They'll make their move soon. Probably tomorrow. You think they know about you? Marcus asks. They know enough to send a message, she replies, her voice steady. Those shots through the window this morning, calculated, precise, designed to gauge my response. The first move the next morning dawns, painting the clinic in hues of rose and gold. Lisa arrives early, only to freeze in the parking lot. The front window, reinforced against even the worst storms, bears 3 small, precise holes. The pattern, a tight triangle, speaks of professional marksmanship. Could have been kids, Lisa offers weakly, though her voice carries no conviction. No, Sarah replies softly, scanning the area with a trained eye. This is a message. Inside, Sarah finds a sleek black business card on her desk, the words, Harbor Watch Security Consultants, embossed in silver. Below, in meticulous block letters, a handwritten note reads, 2 p.m. Professional courtesy meeting. Chief Woods arrives within minutes of her call. 3 other businesses got the same thing last night, he reports grimly. They're tightening the noose. Sarah listens, her gaze cool and unyielding. They're testing us, seeing how we'll respond. You should close for a few days, Woods suggests. Let us handle this. Businesses finding their windows broken, clinics forced to process illegal prescriptions under threat of violence. The black SUV's repeated passes reinforce her suspicions. During her lunch break, Chief Woods from the local police department stops by under the guise of a blood pressure check. Heard anything about these new folks causing trouble down in Portsmouth? He asks casually. Some, Sarah replies, her voice steady but thoughtful. They're moving systematically. 3 clinics hit in the past month. 1 burned down after refusing to cooperate. Wood's expression tightens. Be careful, Sarah. Maybe think about hiring security. A faint smile touches her lips. I've got measures in place, Chief. Her tone carries a certainty that gives him pause, as though he's beginning to sense there's more to her than meets the eye. What Woods doesn't see, what nobody in Harbor Grove sees, is the meticulous preparation behind Sarah's routine. The clinic's recent renovations weren't just for modernization. They included reinforced windows, enhanced security cameras, and carefully concealed defensive positions. Emergency drills for the staff are surprisingly thorough for a small-town facility. Sarah's years of military training have shaped her into a guardian not just of lives, but of the sanctuary she's built. As the sun dips lower, Mary Dawson, owner of the local pharmacy, rushes into the clinic clutching her wrist. The bruising is clear, distinct marks of force. Mary stammers out a clumsy excuse, but Sarah's calm gaze draws out the truth. Two men had demanded $5,000 for protection and left a promise to return. Sarah's presence shifts subtly, her stance exuding a quiet authority that momentarily silences Mary. "Did they leave a way to contact them?" she asks, her voice carrying the calm of battlefield triage. "They'll be back tomorrow," Mary whispers. They call themselves the Harbor Watch. Sarah helps her settle into the clinic's observation room for the night, her voice firm with reassurance. "Stay here. You'll be safe." As night falls, Sarah conducts her real security checks. She reviews files documenting the Harbor Watch's movements, profiles compiled through a network of veterans who've faced similar threats. Her phone buzzes, a message from Marcus, a paramedic and fellow veteran. For more bikes just rolled in. "Armed. Want me to alert the others?" Her response is brief, "Not yet. Watch and record." In her office, Sarah unlocks a cabinet holding more than just medical records. Tactical documents, floor plans, and carefully mapped exit routes lie alongside first aid supplies. As she surveys the quiet streets through her window, her resolve solidifies. Sarah's smile is razor sharp. That's exactly what they want, Chief. Fear, disruption, compliance. But some of us didn't spend years in combat zones just to back down from bullies. The confrontation at precisely 2 p.m., the black SUV returns, flanked by two motorcycles. Their movements, fluid, coordinated, confirm Sarah's suspicions. Former military, likely special operations. She watches through strategically placed mirrors as four men disembark, each positioning themselves with tactical awareness. The leader steps forward, his posture confident and predatory. Through the clinic's reinforced glass, Sarah observes him scan the area, calculating angles and vulnerabilities. But what he doesn't see is the clinic's hidden layers of defense, or the combat medic who stands ready to defend her ground. Inside, Sarah waits, calm and deliberate. Her hands move through routine tasks, updating charts, preparing supplies, but her mind is honed, her strategy clear. She has spent a decade choosing to heal rather than harm. But if the Harbor Watch believes they can intimidate her, they are about to learn a hard truth. Some warriors never stop fighting, they just learn to protect what truly matters. As the men approach the door, Sarah Mitchell's two worlds collide. The gentle nurse of Harbor Grove stands ready, not as a victim, but as a defender. And when the dust settles, Harbor Watch will learn that not all battles are fought with weapons. Sometimes, the most dangerous opponent is the one who has something worth protecting. Here's a polished continuation of the story, keeping the suspense high and highlighting the strategic tension between Sarah and Knox. The standoff Knox's presence fills the clinic like smoke, testing, probing, and seeking out weaknesses. His men remain stationed outside, their movements disciplined, yet betraying subtle tells that Sarah notes with clinical precision. The slight tension in their stances. The way their eyes flick to her movements, as though trying to decipher a puzzle they hadn't anticipated. "Let's be direct, Miss Mitchell," Knox says, his tone deceptively smooth as he lowers himself into a visitor's chair with calculated nonchalance. Harbor Grove needs structure, protection, professional oversight of certain biomedical resources. He gestures casually toward the secure storage area where the clinic keeps its controlled substances. "We can ensure your facility operates without interference for a reasonable monthly consideration." Sarah remains standing, her position carefully chosen to appear non-threatening while keeping clear lines to multiple security measures. "And if I prefer to maintain our current security arrangements," she replies, her voice calm and measured.